Hello and welcome back to another episode of So My Wife's a Witch.
A Bewitched Deep Dive podcast.
And today we are back with Season 1, Episode 12, and Something Makes 3.
I hate the title immediately.
Yeah, what does this title mean to you?
I don't know. You don't start a sentence with and.
Yeah, ... And something makes 3.
Yeah. I guess I'm going to start every one of these episodes with like a, retraction to fix past episode mistakes.
We take accountability here.
But I was let known by a friend that that LaGuardia Airport is in fact in New York. So.
I, in fact, had a conversation with my mother about this because she lives in Virginia and she's from New York, and we were talking about me coming, flying into New York and meeting her there for a little trip. And I was like, well, I can't do LaGuardia because that's in New Jersey. And she was like, no, it's not. That's in New York. And I said, I knew it.
Wow. So what if you were like, nuh-uh, Nathan said it's in...
I'm like, nuh-uh, girl, you don't know. My friend from Alabama, he knows the airport's in New York.
So, yeah. Sorry of anyone who might have gotten offended by such things.
I think the actual airport in New Jersey is Newark.
Newark, yeah.
Newark.
Yeah, I discovered that afterward and just looked over the water or whatever, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
There's an airport right there, but it's not LaGuardia.
That's not JFK.
No,
that's okay. If anything, I just learned that I need to trust myself more.
You do.
Yeah.
And stop letting a man tell you what is right and what's wrong.
Facts.
On this day in 1964, and this day was December 3rd, 1964, when episode 12 premiered. Sponsored by Quaker Oats and written once again by Danny Arnold. So, on this day, police arrest 800 sit-in students at UC Berkeley.
For the part of the civil.
Yeah. Do you remember in one of my previous episodes, right, where I talked about there was at UC Berkeley. So yes, that's the day that they do the giant arrest of 800 students. Insane. First of all, paperwork. That's before computers. You're going to have to sit there, and if you really want to book 800 people.
Yeah, that's a lot. Especially a peaceful protest, like a sit-in. Yeah. Come on now. What are we doing?
Just say, go home.
Go home, y'all.
Y'all get out of here.
Yeah.
But no, insane that they did.
Crazy.
And then also, so it wasn't on this day, but in this week of 1964, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the fun claymation, whatever, one by Rankin Bass, premiered on December 6th.
Cute. Yeah. What an iconic Christmas movie.
I know. Bewitched is older than that.
That's insane, actually.
Yeah.
Are you a fan of claymation?
I grew up watching those movies. My sister absolutely hates them and doesn't like any stop motion, so she's never watched Coraline and stuff like that, which I adore. And again, sorry, no offense to Rankin Bass if you're listening, but the technology today, right, of stop motion stuff is 10 times better than it was for their movies. The cameras are different, the techniques are completely different. So I'm like, girl, just watch it.
Especially Coraline, because I also take issue with stop motion. It freaks me out. So I can't watch any of those old stop motion movies or what is it, Chicken Run, any of those old ones.
Well, I don't really like the studio that does Chicken Run anyway. Because they do Wallace and Gromit and stuff like that. Yeah. So that one's never been my favorite,
but Coraline I can get behind because the frame rate is increased, so it's not as janky. It's a little more fluid with their movements. So to me, it doesn't come off as, it doesn't trigger that fear in me that makes me not want to watch it. But it's also supposed to be kind of like a dark animated movie. So I still get that with the button eyes, and I love Coraline.
we can love the movie, but not the artist, right?
Yes.
Love the art, not the artist.
Yes. We separate them.
So yeah, and then there are some new songs on the charts as well. It's been a few episodes since it has changed. So, the number one song in America was called Ringo by Lauren Green. And the number one song in the UK was Little Red Rooster by the Rolling Stones.
Wow.
Let me tell you.
Yeah. Tell me.
I grew up watching Bonanza.
Mm-hmm.
You know Bonanza.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Now, you might say, what does this have to do with the songs that you just talked about?
I assume you'll get to that.
So the number one song at this point, Ringo by Lauren Green. So Lauren Green played Ben Cartwright in Bonanza, the dad.
Oh.
This was a song off of one of Bonanza's records that were released around Bonanza.
Oh, cute.
Sure.
Oh, no. Bad.
So Lauren released 10 albums within a 6-year period, starting in 1961 and ending in 1966. And most were like Western and like whatever country music themed and everything. But 3 of them were definitely Bonanza specific. So the first one was called Bonanza Ponderosa Party Time.
Wow, we love the alliteration.
Yes. And the second one was called Christmas on the Ponderosa. That sounds like a better title, right? A more traditional title. And then the last one was Welcome to the Ponderosa. Now, shouldn't Welcome to the Ponderosa be the first album you release?
Yeah, like introducing them to the Ponderosa.
Yeah. But yeah, they're mostly, especially this Ringo song, they were mostly like kind of spoken word with him,
like Johnny Cash?
No... Like, yeah, he's just like telling a story kind of thing, but like with a rhythm. Okay. And then there's like people in the background being like, like repeating, but the singing,
I see.
It was interesting. So, but either way, it's interesting as well to see just how popular Bonanza was, because a song off of a Bonanza record was number one in America, right?
Yeah.
During this time. So, yeah.
That's like modern day, like a song from Hannah Montana being number one. Sorry, like 2010s more like, not really modern, but.
Did you see
that
the special that's coming?
Yes.
And then filming with her in the wig and everything. Mm-hmm. So excited.
And Abby's gonna get to go.
Who?
She was on Love on the Spectrum.
Oh,
I love her.
I was like, I don't remember an Abby in Hannah Montana.
She loves Hannah Montana, and she's going to the special. So I'm following her, and I'm excited about that for her.
Well, good. Yeah. But yeah, it's just so crazy, like looking at the records, and yeah. Anyway,
it's so fun. Do you know, like, how do they go? How do those songs go?
I'm on the Ponderosa.
You have a beautiful.
Thank you.
What is that, baritone?
I don't know. I'm very resonant.
You are very resonant.
Yeah, but like, what other show, right, would have had something like that? Like, some shows had like little releases, right? Like maybe 45s with like some cute things on there, especially more for kids. But like a show like Bonanza to have 3 records at least, the first one though, off of let me get this right. Off of Bonanza Ponderosa Party Time, one of the popular songs was My Sons, My Sons. Because, that's what he's on the Ponderosa with his sons, because no woman can survive in Bonanza. That was kind of like the running joke, right? Like anytime a woman came into their life, they died.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's like practical magic.
I guess so.
With the man in their lives.
Yeah. So, so I guess it was a song all about his boy, because he had 3 of them, Adam, Haas, and Little Joe.
My sons.
Thank you for helping me with these cattle and horses.
You really resonated with this.
Yeah.
Yeah. Growing up on a farm.
Yeah. And I grew up watching bonanza because Daddy likes westerns. You know. Anyway,
very fun.
You can find those albums on Spotify, like I did. Do we want to get to the episode?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So our cold open, we open with Samantha in the backyard. Mm-hmm. She has this ugly robe on for some reason, but under the robe is a one-piece bathing suit. Now, what would Samantha be doing in a one-piece bathing suit in their backyard? Because we know they don't have a pool.
We know they don't have a pool. We've seen their backyard in a couple of different episodes now.
Yeah.
And she is in this one-piece bathing suit, and then she puts on a little cap.
Yeah, she looks phenomenal, right?
It's so cute.
Good Lord, the body.
Yes.
And then, she puts on, which David hated as well. She puts on this ugly, with the little fake flowers on and everything, swimming cap. Mm-hmm. Hilarious. Mm-hmm. And then she has her towel, and then she just just jumps in a pool, right?
Yeah, we don't ever actually see the pool.
No, that would be too expensive.
Right, but we hear the sound of the splash, and we see the jumps and the dives. And the dives go crazy. It's like directly vertical. The arc that she gets on the up and down is crazy to me. Because when I dive, it's like barely. I can barely get that kind of.
No, I can't be diving. It just all hits you so hard like a cannonball, how the water hits you so hard. And then the water just immediately goes in the ears. It's just not a pleasant experience for me.
Dry diving, what we do here. It's more the thing.
So we see that, and then we cut to, how many episodes has it been without her? We're in a drought. We cut to Gladys Kravitz, the best character. And she's working in her flower bed. She's so cute. Now, I've also really, 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 really love her, her acting choices, right, in this episode. Because she immediately, she hears the splashing and everything, and she's like, she starts doing like this. She's like, oh, like making noises and like patting.
It's a hot day.
Yeah, like patting her thing, overacting, right? Mm-hmm. And I just love it so much. And she looks so delighted and so innocent as well, right, for her. And she's loving it. She crosses the street to see, Samantha enjoying the pool, right? And she gets up to their fence, and she sees Samantha's like wet, and she goes on in the house with the thing. And then Gladys is like, oh, that's nice. And then she looks back to where the pool would be, right? And there's nothing there, like pans around the, backyard. And then of course Gladys, her, little screaming, and she runs back to her house.
Yeah, I love it. I love all of her sounds and her reactions to things.
It's so good.
I did wonder when we first see her looking at the house how she can view their backyard, because from what we know, like that side of their house faces the front of Samantha and Darrin's house. So seeing her looking from that perspective is like a little like, how is that even possible? I
kind of figured it was like she heard the splashing, right, and then she just walked over there.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. They cut it to make it look like it makes sense.
Oh yeah,
for sure. Rough out here.
Yeah. Anything else to say about the opening?
No, that was it.
Wonderful. So we have our theme song, of course, and then that's when we learn that Danny Arnold has written this episode. Cut to Sam cleaning the living room.
Oh, she's got her cute little kerchief, little bandana in her hair. I love it.
So cute. And it looks like she's kind of doing some deep cleaning, right? She's got the couch cushions up. She's in the, they have the built-ins in the mantle, which I love, like shelves built into the brick, right?
Display all their little tchotchkes.
Yes, and I love them so much. So she has all the stuff out of there as well, and she's like wiping everything down. So she's really deep cleaning, and all of a sudden the phone rings, and it's Louise Tate, and she is at the corner filling station for some reason. She answers, and she's like, we see her, and it's like she isn't like supposed to be like a gas station, right? So she's using their phone, I guess, which is why she stopped there. And she asks if she can come over because it's an emergency. And she's like, oh, all right, and hangs up the
Samantha's
phone.
like, maybe I could meet you
Somewhere,
yeah, because we see in the background she also has like groceries out on the counter, and she's clearly like, this is her cleaning day. She is in the middle of it, in the thick of it, and she gets off the phone with Louise and takes this big breath of air, and her face acting here is so good because she's like, what am I gonna do? Oh, I guess I'll just have to and then she does this big intake of air, and then she zooms around the whole house. She's grabbing dry cleaning as she runs up the stairs. She comes back down, this cute little outfit. She's got all of the couch cushions put back, and she manages to clean it all up in the matter of 30 seconds.
Yeah. I said she starts moving at ×2 speed. And now this is the first time that this has happened in the show. We will see this a lot more times.
Okay.
It was always some of my favorite parts when I was younger watching it. I thought it was so funny.
Cute.
Like we put her on fast forward, right? Which it's like, I'm not really using witchcraft to not do these things, right? That I, as Samantha, have decided that I want to be a real housewife and do myself, right? She's just speeding up time, but she's still doing it.
Yes.
So I thought it was really funny as well that, usually stuff like this, like that's in a set, they're going to have people do off camera, right? Like move things and everything. But literally having Elizabeth Montgomery move all this stuff.
And it's all one take. We see her do all this. I'm sure they cut when she goes upstairs and changes.
So good.
But running around the house and putting everything back, it's her doing all of those things. And how many times do you wish that you're in a rush and you wish you could just press flash forward and get it all done?
Yeah. That's what Mama would always say too, when we would see it in one of the episodes. So, but yeah, I just love it. But yeah, she runs upstairs and comes down in this hideous flower sack original frock. It's not the same one that y'all know I have beef with already. It's another one I feel like we've seen once before, but it's so shapeless. Again, it looks like a maternity dress, like something they would have put her in to hide a baby belly, but it is just straight down, no shape whatsoever, really high neck and long sleeved. And the only part that has any kind of
skin showing or embellishment,
decoration or whatever, is on the sleeves. And I'm just like, why is she in this? But either way, she comes down just in time to hear the doorbell ring. And of course it's Louise, looking gorgeous in a pink dress suit situation, which in the colorized version is pink, of course, but either way they did a good job picking the color. But she does not wait for Sam to invite her in, and she rushes in the door, clearly distraught.
She brushes right past her, and I'm like, well, that was rude, but we find out why.
No, Louise, my queen, can do whatever she wants. Hashtag leave Louise alone.
Leave her alone.
It's awful. Anywho. So yeah, she does that, and Sam is like, girl, what's wrong with you? Did something happen to Darrin?
Yeah.
And I'm like, Louise is like, no, bitch, not everything's about you.
Yeah. I have something going on.
Yeah, I can have something going on without it being about Darrin or Larry.
Yeah.
Because she's like, no, he's fine. And then Sam is like, well, is Larry fine? And Louise is like, up until now, yes. We then learn that Larry and Louise they've been married for 16 years. That's insane.
It's a long time.
To be with such an asshole.
Right? To be putting up with his bullshit. Took him all this time to take her to Paris when he goes every year. Just so many, anyway.
We'll get there. But yeah, and so Sam's kind of assuming what? You're not serious. She's thinking that they're going to get a divorce, right? Or something. But Louise says that she's going to be a mother.
Yeah, she got a call.
She is mother.
She is mother, literally. She got a call from her doctor, and the doctor said that a pregnancy test came back positive, so they want her to come in and do a little checkup on her. And she's really scared. She doesn't want to go by herself. So that's why she stopped by. She wants Sam to come with her. But more than anything, she's worried about Larry's reaction.
Yes. Yeah, she seems very nervous about what he's going to think, right? But yeah, so Sam is over the moon excited. But Louise, of course, is not so much. But yeah, she wants Sam to go with her to the doctor.
And she's like, I'm worried about Larry's reaction, and Samantha goes, oh my stars, and I
Yes.
wrote it down because
the
that's
first time, as far as I know,
Yes.
the first time she says one of her catchphrases, which is very exciting.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, and this is when Sam is like trying to reassure her, like make her feel better, and she says, Louise, like having a baby is the most important thing that could ever happen to a woman.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, if that's, your choice, then yeah, that's fine. But like to automatically be like, this is the most important thing a woman can ever do. And it's like, watching it now and it's like annoying, right?
I feel like it's clear a man wrote this.
Yeah.
Honestly, like Samantha's reaction to, is it something wrong with Darrin? Like a woman seeing another woman in distress is immediately going to assume it's something about a man, and say that, you should be so excited because this is what you were born to do. Like this is the most exciting thing.
Yeah, like you were a failure. Y'all have been together for 16 years and you haven't had a child yet.
You're finally doing your duty, Louise.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, it's a little backwards for sure for modern day thinking.
But yeah, and my thought too, right, is like we know that Elizabeth Montgomery was very progressive, very liberal in a lot of things, especially for this time period. So it's like you kind of have the ear of the director, right? Wouldn't you have some kind of say of like, let's maybe not lean in so hard on this is all women are good for type thing,
Yeah, is this the message we want to send? Yeah.
But either way, it's a product of the time,
Truly, yes.
But yeah.
Oh, and then we see in the background.
Yes, this one, yes.
We see our girl, Gladys.
Yes, so it's actually really good. Like, I'm like, okay, Mr. Asher, because they say, like, all right, well, let's go, right? And so they get up to leave, but we don't see them get up to leave. We just hear them. And then the camera kind of sits and kind of zooms in on the back patio doors, and then Gladys comes in the frame. It's so good.
She's snooping, which she loves she does best, and we love to see her doing it, and she's trying to figure out where the fuck the pool went.
Yes, it's so funny. She just, again, her acting, her physical comedy in this episode is peak. She's just going around just like her left leg, like stomping on the ground, like seeing if it's solid. It's so cute. And she keeps doing it. And she like kicks the planter. Like there's a brick planter in the backyard. And she like does, the, ow, grabbing her foot, like everything. Oh, it's so good.
She's so good at comedy. It's so, the physical comedy goes hard.
She just makes me so happy.
Yeah.
But yeah. And so then we cut to Darrin's office. And Larry's like, well, what is it? And Darrin says, a cavity. So
Darrin's like looking into his mouth.
Yeah.
Which I've never done with any of my bosses or my friends to try to identify like what's wrong in their mouth. Very silly thing.
He doesn't even have a phone to like turn on the flashlight and to look in his mouth. Like,
I mean, imagine how bad of a cavity it must have been for him with zero light and looking that far away to be able to tell that it's a cavity.
Maybe he could smell it.
Oh,
Like something is rotten up in there.
Something's gone wrong. You got a hole in there.
So yeah, Darrin's like, you need to go take care of that. Like that's really bad. And Darrin's like, Larry's like, I guess I could go on my lunch break, but like, can you please come with me?
I have a question. I'm like, I didn't know that dentists took walk-ins in the 60s.
Well, I guess they do when you're, a high executive in McMahon and Tate.
Right? Yeah, he's got some perks. But to ask Darrin to go with him to
it's so funny.
dentist appointment.
But you remember what he did? He said he's like uses because he assumes that they're going to give him gas, right? And he uses that as an excuse to be like, well, someone needs to drive me home. He's going to give me gas, right? Or whatever. And then that's when Darrin gives him the bad news, like, oh, you'll be fine because they're going to give you a shot in your gum. Like they don't give you gas for a cavity.
Yeah. It was relatable though, because I also hate the dentist. Like I didn't always hate it.
I don't.
It's been a recent thing. As I get older, my gums have started receding, so it's painful every single time.
Receding gums, receding hair.
Gums, receding hair. Match made in heaven. But it's painful, and so I actually get what he's saying, where he's like, a needle, but to numb the drilling. And he's like, what's gonna numb the needle though? Like, that is also sharp and painful.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Well, if anybody knows me, they know that I'm obsessed with the dentist. I love it so much. It makes
You're a
me so happy. Like, I literally was at the dentist last week for my 6-month cleaning, and I didn't remember, like, it's already 6 months, right, since my last time. Like, it flies by. But, like, I got the, like, automatic notification on my phone and be like, oh, you have a whatever appointment, right? And I was like, oh my God. Like, I was so excited.
You're so funny.
I love it.
I wish I could give you a little bit of my pain and take a little bit of your joy from you to just balance out my experience.
That's such a nice thing for you to say.
Selfishly.
Don't take my dentist joy.
But you know how the rest of us live out here.
I just had really good experiences growing up at the dentist.
Yeah. I always used to love going because we had one that had an aquarium in it so I could wash the fishes.
Mine does now.
Oh, yeah? Fancy. Maybe I just need to switch dentists.
Oh, they're incredible.
Yeah. We'll talk after this.
Dr. Pakel. They're incredible.
Yeah.
So,
sponsor us.
Highly recommend. But yeah, it's cute how he tries to get out of it, right? And but yeah, so he's very scared.
He is very scared, and I love Larry's line in the scene. He goes, "Oh, don't laugh. Everyone has their Achilles heel. Mine happens to be in my mouth." Relatable.
Yeah, they cut to Darrin. He's laughing at his friend as it fades away, right? So cut to Larry leaving the dentist's office. So I'm like, wow, that's quick. You know, when he's rubbing his jaw, you know, he just got it filled, I guess. Mm-hmm. And then a few doors down, he sees Sam and Louise going into the obstetrician's office. And Sam and Louise sit down in the waiting room, and Sam is trying to assure Louise that everything will be fine and that Larry will be fine. And Sam says that this is when men have to get it together and be strong, right, for moments like this. Mm-hmm. And Louise says, yeah, he will probably hit me. And I said, oh, God. Now we're into spousal abuse.
Yeah, and yeah. God. And she kind of says it like she doesn't say it as like he'll hit me, like trying to get a reaction out of Sam. She kind of says it quietly, almost to herself. Like, and Sam's reaction is just kind of like, oh Louise.
You're so silly.
Yeah. And it misses the mark. You expect her to be able to comfort her friend and be like, well, does that happen often? Yeah. Like, you want to see some curiosity from Sam in that moment and some comforting. And instead she's just like, oh, you're being dramatic.
Okay, but this was the 60s. Let's be like, if she were to be like whatever, she'd be like, oh, well, that's normal in any marriage to take a few lumps from your husband every few weeks.
Every few weeks. Yeah. Did they ever show Darrin hitting Sam?
Could you imagine? No.
Okay, so they know it's wrong. So they know. So we've established in this world that is wrong and would never happen.
Could you imagine?
Exactly.
One day it just turns to this, like, from this really fun magical show to like him pushing her down the stairs. Like, we're like, oh my God, Darrin has had enough.
Yeah, he's finally cracked. It turns into an episode of Snapped.
Yeah. Anyway,
I don't know. The casual mention of domestic violence. I just wish that Sam, as a woman, we see her. If this was written by a woman, I feel like there would have been a little bit. She would have maybe reacted differently to that in her words.
How would Barbara have done it?
Well,
a lot more horny.
She probably would have been like, oh, well, as soon as Louise is like, I'm worried to tell him, Sam would probably have been like, oh, well, I have the perfect thing. And then like run up to her closet, bring down some lingerie and be like, wear this when you tell him. He won't even hear what you're saying. Yeah. Or something like that. If Barbara Avedon was writing it, I think that's how that would go. She would. Yeah.
But yeah, so Larry sees them going into this office and he's like, what's going on? Why are they here? You know? And so he walks down to the door.
He says, son of a gun.
He does.
Yes.
Times like these, men become very strong.
You really think so?
I know it.
Then you probably hit me.
Louise. And I just can't wait to see the look on Darrin's face when I tell him.
Why, that lucky son of a gun.
another catchphrase, which
Born.
I only know because Nathan pointed them out to me. And now every time they happen, I get excited.
Yes. I don't think Darrin has one.
We'll see.
We'll see. But yeah, so then he opens the door and sees them sitting there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, somehow Louise doesn't see him because from his angle where the camera is, like she is literally facing the door. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, how does she not see him standing in the door? He's like opened it wide. It's not like he just peeked in. Mm-hmm. But it's for the show can happen, of course, you know. Yeah. Suspension of disbelief.
Yeah.
But then I love this too because, you know, Sam, like her back is kind of away from the camera. And she says, loud enough for him and everyone to hear, projected much louder than the way they've been talking. She says, I can't wait to see the look on Darrin's face when I tell him. And then this is what Larry hears, and then he freaks out and shuts the door, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, this is like something like they're getting more into that sitcom-y realm, right? Where what we will know sitcoms to be, right? Later. Mm-hmm. Like, I was like, this is like something on Three's Company, right? Like all of Three's Company was just like misunderstandings and mishearing people, right?
Yeah.
And assuming things.
And it's so cool because Three's Company is copying what Bewitched does. Like, this is one of the first sitcoms. Yeah. So this is like the making of the tropes. So it's really cool to watch them play out.
Yeah, it's just so funny. And then how she, I guess because she had her back to the camera and like that, we would definitely wanted to hear that line that she basically just yells this line. It's so funny. So of course Larry thinks that they're there for Samantha and that Darrin is going to be a father, right?
Because after 16 years of marriage, he's probably given up hope.
Yeah.
Or
just blames her.
Yeah, for why they haven't gotten pregnant.
Cut back to Darrin's office, and he's looking at these. It's so stupid. Like, we'll put in a clip, but he's like doing busy work like Gladys was earlier in the episode. Like, he's looking at all these little line graphs. There's nothing else on them. Like, no like writing of what these graphs would be, right? Mm-hmm. I guess that we can see in HD now, but like it's literally just random nonsensical graphs, and he's got like a pen and he's like really close to them, like, you know, furrowed brow looking at them. It's so funny. But yeah, so Larry walks on in, acting a lot more excited and happy than he normally would, you know, after just coming back from the dentist to getting a tooth filled, right? Mm-hmm. And Darrin is like, what's going on, you know? And yeah, he's like calling Darrin a lucky son of a gun. Mm-hmm. And Darrin's like, what are you talking about? And then, yeah, he finally tells him that what he saw and that Darrin is going to be a father. Mm-hmm. He keeps calling him Papa.
Papa? Yeah, and Darrin's giddiness is adorable. He's immediately so excited.
Yeah.
And he's contemplating calling Sam and like giving her a call just to talk to her, and maybe she'll tell him over the phone. And Larry's like, no, like let her tell you on her own time, like on her own terms.
But like I feel bad for Darrin in this moment, right? Because we know it's not true. Yeah. And just how genuinely elated and like happy he seems, right? For this news. And I'm like, oh.
Shows he's really excited to start a family with her like that. Whenever that does happen. As I mentioned in the previous episode, that they're in no rush. They're, you know, not trying to rush through their marriage and this time that they have together. But at the same time, whenever it does happen, he's going to be very excited.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he's really excited. But yeah, he wants to call Sam, but Larry tells him not to, and that this is probably the most important moment in a woman's life. So we get the same line again, this time from Larry, which I would assume Larry would say something like this, right? Mm-hmm. Because of who we know Larry to be, right? Mm-hmm. But yeah, so he says that, and but yeah, they decide to let her tell him in his. They decide to let her tell him in her own way and everything. Mm-hmm. So, but just then he gets a phone call, and it's Sam calling from the doctor's office.
And she tells him that she's in town shopping.
Yes.
And he's immediately like, oh, like he thinks that she's trying to cover up that she's actually at the doctor's office. Mm-hmm. And she mentions how she wants to have Larry and Louise over for dinner tonight. And I thought that was rather clever because if Louise is so stressed about how she's going to tell Larry and what his reaction will be, saying it in front of other people and in front of friends in like an intimate environment like that, I feel like is the safest option for her. That way he won't say or do anything awful, which she anticipates.
Mm-hmm.
And Darrin, so kind and considerate, says that she better not stand on her feet for too long. Like he's worried about her being pregnant and being up on her feet for too long, cooking dinner and running around the house.
Yeah.
And he hands the phone over to Larry, and we see like Simma's like, oh, Larry wants to talk to you. And Louise takes the phone.
Hello, Larry? Yes, dear. Oh, certainly, dear. Goodbye, dear.
Darrin thought dinner was an excellent idea, as long as I didn't stand on my feet too long.
I tell you, that husband of mine is one kind and considerate man.
Seems like I've got a pretty kind and considerate husband myself.
Oh? What'd he say?
He told me to cook the dinner. He doesn't want you to stand on your feet too long either.
Cut back to the office, and they're talking about how wonderful it will be to have children around, and you know what they hope it'll be, you know, like all these things, right? Kind of looking to the future, not reminiscing, but whatever.
Yeah. They're dreamscaping
about
having kids and how exciting it will be.
Manifesting.
Yes. Larry talks about how it's so nice to have kids when you're young, but when you're old and tired and impatient, and Darrin goes, I don't think you're not old, tired, and impatient, and Larry goes, oh, I was talking about Louise.
Yeah.
She's just getting the short end of the stick
every
this whole episode. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's so cute because they're like, oh, like, will it be a boy or a girl? He's like, what will it be kind of thing? And Larry's like, well, for one thing, we know for a fact it'll be either a boy or a girl, right? And then this is when Darrin starts having a mental breakdown, as he had just never really thought, right?
The third gender. Which?
Yeah. Yeah, he just had never thought about it before, right? Like, will their kid be a witch or warlock like Samantha? Like, how does that work, you know? And so then we have a really fun dream sequence.
Which, you know, he loves his wife.
Yeah.
And you would think the first thought would be, well, if the kid is anything like Samantha, this woman I love so much and have so much respect for and I think is so wonderful, then we're gonna be okay. But instead he clearly has some deep-seated prejudice against witches, because all of the stereotypes that he worked so hard to get rid of in that previous episode come back, and suddenly he's imagining his children as wearing pointy hats and having capes and riding broomsticks.
Yes, you know, and he gets there at the end, right? You know, but no, it's so funny, and which I would love to know. I didn't look it up, but I would love to look and see like when the first use of like some type of dream sequence, you know, was used in television, right? I think would be cool. But yeah, we get like the screen does like a wave effect, right? The you know, like they're going into a dream. And yeah, all of a sudden his secretary goes over the little speaker intercom and she's like, Mr. Stevens, your wife and children are here. And he's like, children, you know? And then they bust in and they're all the special effects, first of all, incredible. They all bust in. They're wearing either blue or pink capes with matching pointy witch hats, and they're all riding around on broomsticks. So funny.
That's so funny. That's interesting too. I watched the black and white version and I just imagined that they were black hats and capes, but they colored them.
They did. They made them like black on the outside, and then the lining was either pink or blue.
Oh, fun.
Very cute.
Very cute.
Because I'm like, I feel like for those, they might have had like color set photos or something. I don't know, but either way, because they try to, like, if they have that, they'll try to like color them what the real color was. But
true.
But yeah, super cute. The broomsticks are really nice as well. Like, they look well made.
Yeah, right.
And then this is when we see that one of their daughters is played by Marsha herself.
Maureen McCormick.
I said, no mistake in that deep voice, even at that age. Hilarious.
Right. She's such a cutie.
It's so cute.
Yeah, the kids are wreaking all sort of havoc all over his office. They're
mhm.
turning each other into plants. They're painting all over his presentations. They're spinning around on
Yeah.
broomsticks in the middle of the room.
It's so good.
It's chaos.
But she turns her brother into a plant. Marcia does, which we learn her name is Little Andorra, as Samantha calls her.
She's got a cute little nose twitch. Thought it was pretty good
It's
for
so
a
cute.
kid actor.
And yeah, she turns him into a plant because they get in an argument about sharing candy, and then he calls her fat. Which we see that again coming soon in this episode. But yeah, calls her fat, and then Darrin asks Samantha if all of their children are, and then he reaches up to his nose and wiggles it back and forth like Samantha does. And she says, well, of course, what did you expect? It's so good. And then she tells him that they're on their way to the park. And so she says, all right, children, come here, get ready. And then she's like, all together now. And then she counts 1, 2, 3. And then the big, air fan or whatever happens to his office again. And they all disappear except for the one standing on his desk. So cute. And he's like, hey, Ma, you forgot about me or whatever. And then that's when we learn his name is Julius. And then they disappear, and Darrin just kind of slumps down in his chair, right? And that's when the dream sequence ends, and Darrin is like, he says, Sam, what have we done?
I know. Just because his kids exhibit supernatural powers, he can't even conceptualize co-parenting.
Maybe it's like his own, self-doubt or whatever, right? Like he feels less of a less important or whatever because he's mortal, right?
Oh, like he wouldn't be able to live up to the kid's expectations of a father because he is mortal.
Yeah, or even in general, right? Why he hates her magic so much is because maybe he's
so ordinary.
He's jealous that he doesn't have those abilities, right?
Insecurities.
Yeah, or I'm a man. I was always taught in this life, right, to grow up and take care and oh my God,
provide,
support a woman, right? And it's when he realizes that, in the first episode, right? Maybe it's more of a thing of oh shit, she doesn't need me to support her. She can do everything herself, right?
Yeah.
So,
which is crazy because even if she can do everything herself, doesn't mean that she should. She might. Still, speaking as myself as a person, it's nice. It's always good to have a partner who can help support and do whatever you're doing. Even if you can do it by yourself, doesn't mean you should. And but you would never know that unless they communicate and talk about it.
Exactly. But either way, to be able to say okay, that's okay. That's what you've been programmed to do, right? In America during the 50s. But guess what? You can it doesn't have to always be on your shoulders. I am a witch and I can do these things and I can also help and support you.
Yeah.
Right? And make
we're
your
a
life
team.
easier.
We can decide how we want this team to work.
So maybe in the reboot they're planning, maybe we'll have more kind of conversations like that, right? Anyway. So cut to Gladys and Abner in Sam and Darrin's backyard.
Casually trespassing.
It's so good. It's nighttime, and he's trying to convince her that there is no pool and that they are going to get arrested for trespassing. And my favorite, though, he's like, I looked everywhere, including the garage, so he even went further and went into a space, right, other than their backyard.
So he's still very complicit in what it might be he deemed as her insane, ideas before. Now he's very complicit in trying to figure it out with her.
Because the sooner I can show you that there's no swimming pool, the sooner I can go do whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you'll leave me alone, hopefully. But it's so nice to see him as well in this episode. But I was I'm can I just say, I love, it's kind of the same outfit she was in the cold open, but I think Alice Pierce here looks so cute in this, just regular outfit, everyday outfit, just a button down blouse tucked into a long, blue jean looking skirt. She looks so cute.
Yeah, right? She's adorable.
I just love her so much. But yeah, and then cut to inside the house, like while they're creeping in the backyard. On the inside, we see that the dinner table is all set up and Sam and Louise are dressed up for dinner.
Oh my God. And I think Louise looks amazing. I loved this dress. I love the fringe and the shape of the way it fits her body, and the pockets are so cute.
I said it's giving 60s saloon chic.
Oh, yes.
Because there's like fringe at the top. Like it's really weird, but I like how even the pattern is like all these like lines, like scribble looking things. But like the pattern itself seems more modern. Maybe like something you'd see like in the 80s. Like it's interesting.
It is interesting.
So, but yeah, she looks so good. And then Samantha's wearing that same like dress with like the flower print that we've seen a whole bunch of times. Never my favorite, but still better than the other one earlier when she lets Louise in the house. But yeah, so she's just, still trying to convince Louise to calm down and that everything's going to be fine. And Sam is like, eat something, see if it calms your nerves. And Louise is like, do you have any Indian nuts? And Sam's like, no, why would I? And so
Did you look this up?
I tried to look this up. Did you?
I did try to look it up too.
Okay, good. What did you find?
I found kind of like a Reddit thread where people were talking about what they thought they might be, because some people remembered and some people was musing on what it could possibly be. And I came up with a couple different things. It might have been shelled pine nuts, pinon nuts, large corn kernels fried like corn nuts, or pistachio nuts dyed red before roasting, aka carnifere.
Yeah. Like, because it was like all over the place.
Yeah.
Like, of course, the AI said that it was just regular nuts, like cashews, almonds, and whatever. And I was like, okay. And then everything else was just saying all this random stuff. And one of them that was like actually seemed to be giving an answer, like on a forum or something, was like a lot of typos. So I was like, well, I don't want to trust you either, right?
Yeah.
So either way, if you know what Indian nuts are.
Yeah. Anyone remember Indian nuts from back in the day? Any of our viewers who were around during that time?
Yeah. What were they?
Yeah. What were they? Please educate in the comments. I'm so curious.
Yeah. Because like I've heard of Brazil nuts, right? Like, but never Indian nuts. So.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the doorbell rings and Sam assumes that it's Darrin and Larry for some reason. Like, why would Darrin ring his own front door? I was like, okay, girl. But yeah, so she opens the door and it's Gladys and Abner. And did I mention how much I'm obsessed with them?
I think you did. And I'm obsessed with Abner's face during this whole interaction. It's so funny.
Like, if anybody, because, speaking of Three's Company, like the Ropers, right? The first landlords, they got their own spinoff.
Yeah.
And then they left, and then Don Knotts took over, right, on Three's Company. But, like, if anybody or any neighbor's going to get a spinoff, it should have been Gladys and Abner. Well, on a sad note, if Alice wouldn't have got sick, right? Unfortunately. Yeah. Because that would have been incredible.
Yeah. Right.
I just obsessed. Anyway, so Abner asked, he just go ahead. She's like, oh, hello, Mr. and Mrs. Kravitz. Because like Louise is there too, like watching, right? And so Abner just asked her right away, do you have a swimming pool? And Sam was like, no, I don't have a swimming pool. And Gladys just immediately, she's like, are you sure? Like, and I'm like, bless her heart. Like, she's just only gaslit.
Yeah,
like,
this whole time.
That's her whole life.
Right.
Good evening, Mr. Kravitz, Mrs. Kravitz.
Good evening. Mrs. Stevens, do you have a swimming pool?
No, we don't.
Are you absolutely sure?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Good night, Mrs. Stevens.
Good night.
Gladys. Gladys?
Oops.
And they like Abner's like, all right, let's go now. And
Yeah.
she's just like looking and like looking in and like still very suspicious, trying to see if she's like, her mind is working. Like, how is this possible? Am I crazy? And Abner's like tugging her along, like, let's go.
Come
let's
on.
go.
It's so cute because when Sam closes the door, like she says, oops, to herself.
Yeah, she has this little moment where she's like, ooh, close one.
She saw me. And then, tries to save a little face by asking, like, she's like, like tells Louise, like, what in the world will make them think we had a swimming pool? You know. And then also, speaking of Alice Pierce, sorry. Also, it feels like her hair's like thicker, like her hair's a little longer, because it's been a few episodes since we've seen her, right? So I think that's also like, what I'm like, she looks so good. Like, it's a little thicker, it's a little longer. So maybe that made a difference as well.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah. And so just then, Darrin and Larry pull up in the driveway, and I love too, because we saw it in episode 10 as well. But like the way we know, and Samantha knows that Darrin is pulled up, is the like screeching tires sound. Mm-hmm. It's hilarious because like there he was in a hurry, right? So it made sense. But here, it's so good.
And like Louise is like clearly like anxious and fidgety, and Sam's like, just stop fussing and buck up. And I hated that because like, you would want like your friend who knows how stressed you are about this, who you've talked about how maybe your husband's going to hit you when he finds out. Like, this is a very stressful situation for her. You want some sort of like some consolation or some validation or showing of a united front. Yeah. Like, we'll get through this together. And Sam doesn't give her any of that.
But again, what does she say? Again. She says, this is the most important moment of your life, Louise. I was just like, shut up. Please. How many times are we going to say that in this episode?
Yeah. Not a fan of the writing.
No. Darrin and Larry walk in. Of course, he didn't ring the doorbell. It's his house. So they walk right in, and they're each holding a little bouquet of flowers. And they both go straight to Sam and ask her how she's feeling. And Darrin gives her a kiss. And then Larry kisses her on her forehead. So stupid.
So stupid. They both give her these flowers, and she's like, oh, thank you. Yeah. And they both tell her how marvelous and beautiful she looks. And she's like, oh, thank you. I better go put these in water. And she like starts to walk off, and Darren's like, oh, I'll come with you and help you. And then she like, as an afterthought, pauses and turns back and goes, and doesn't Louise look very nice this evening? And it's so frustrating because Sam knows how important this moment is for Louise, and she can be as surprised as, like, that's understandable that they're putting all this attention on her, and she's like, why are you doing that? But without providing some sort of support to Louise besides the afterthought of turning back, you know, all of that, I hated the way that they are treating Louise, as if just because she's not pregnant, she's less important. Yeah. She's less desirable. She's unimportant. She's invisible as compared to the pregnant woman who can provide the next generation.
But we know this continues the trend for some reason since the show began of Louise being treated so terribly from the moment we see her in episode 3, right? When Larry refuses to get her a drink.
Yeah.
He refuses to get her a drink again in this episode.
Oh my God.
So yeah, she's like just really confused, right? And I was just like, I'm so sick of them shitting on Louise. Like, it's
I know.
crazy.
And it's so sad, like at the part where he's like, I guess pre-batched a bunch of cocktails or a bunch of martinis. He's got it in a pitcher, and Sam and Darrin come back in, and he's like, who would like a martini? And Louise is like, I'll have one. And then Sam goes, I'll have one. And then they're like, whoa, like, Sam, should you have one? Yeah. Should you have one though?
Yeah.
And Sam's like, yeah, why not? And Darren's like, oh, okay, but just a little one.
Yeah.
And wouldn't Sam question this and be like, well, why can't I have a normal amount of martini?
Or then realize, like, oh, these idiots think I'm the one that's pregnant.
Especially because no one said anything. And even Sam doesn't acknowledge when Louise says she wants to have a drink. Like, Sam doesn't take any sort of pause at that or say anything. And you would think Sam would recognize that they are clearly confused or not treating Louise correctly, because she says multiple times, I'll have one. And they just ignore her. And it's so sad. She's like standing there in the corner of the room, and she just keeps repeating it. I'll have one.
Who's for a martini?
Great idea.
I'll have one. I'll have one.
Here you are, Samantha.
Oh, thank you. I'll have one. Larry, I'd like a drink.
All you have to do is ask.
I wrote it down how many times. It's like 5 or 6 times she says, I'll have a drink. But either way, going back to them complimenting how Louise looks, they do compliment her after Sam suggests it, right? But neither of them look at Louise when they say, yeah, you look great, Louise. They just kind of say it, still looking at Samantha. And I'm like, girl, walk out. Leave.
Yeah, leave.
Find you a better man.
Find you a way better man.
16 years is too long to begin with to put up with him, but 16 more, no thank you.
No, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, so Sam goes into the kitchen to put the flowers in the vase, but like him following her, right? Like, oh, do you want me to carry it? And she's like, it's not heavy. It's a drink. What are you talking about? And he like carries her drink for her, and she's really confused, which again, she should not be confused because we know Samantha is smarter than that. She would know what's going up.
Right.
Anyway. But yeah, he keeps asking her in the kitchen, like, are you okay? How are you feel? And she's like, what? And she's like, how do you feel?
Yeah, she's like, are you okay? Because he keeps asking her if she's okay. And she's like, that must mean something's wrong with you. Like,
Yeah.
Are you good?
Yeah. So, back in, they're in the kitchen, doing everything. And then we cut back to the living room with Larry and Louise, and he's just making drinks or whatever. And she's finally like, can I have one? I'll have one again, right? And Larry is like, oh, okay. So now that Samantha's not in the room, right, his attention can go to something else. But he finally is like, well, why didn't you say something?
Yeah, he's like, all you had to do was ask.
I'm like, oh my God, I hate you so much.
I know. It was a hard watch, this whole part. Yeah.
I totally agree. And then he finally acknowledges her dress, but by asking her how much it costs, basically.
Yes, asking her how much it costs, and then immediately commenting on her weight and her body and saying, it looks a little tight there around the midriff. And she's like, it does? And meanwhile, I'm over here like, it looks perfect. Like, she looks gorgeous.
Yes. So I was like, after he says that, he immediately, like compliments, well, it looks a little tight kind of thing, right? And then I'm like, first of all, she has the tiniest waist I've seen in a long time. But especially at this point, like whatever, like it's so small. We've never seen Irene Vernon as Louise in something this tight fitting. But we can really see how small and tiny Irene is. And it's just such a crazy thing to say, but especially like I was talking to Mama about it before, like on the way here. And like, from the bathing suit or whatever in the beginning, Elizabeth Montgomery is a very curvy, like vivacious, beautiful figure, right? She's got such a killer body. And it's like, and so in the same thing, you can write these things, right? And to keep in mind that she's your star, Elizabeth Montgomery, but she's also the wife of like the director and like all these things. And it's so weird to like have that in the episode, but then also not kind of like on the backhand of it, like be saying something about her weight as well. Is the way I feel too, of like being like, if I were William Asher, I'd be like, so, okay, Danny, what are you saying about my wife's weight too? If you're going to make Larry be like, ooh, look at you.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
And either way, I don't like the commenting in general on women's or anybody's bodies. But this is definitely terrible because, he's like pointing that out, right?
And you wonder if they added that as like, oh, well, she's pregnant, so she's starting to get like a little bit of a belly. But at that stage of pregnancy, she would not be showing yet.
They didn't even like bother to stuff it though either, right? She's tiny.
She looks exactly normal. She hasn't started showing yet, so there's no excuse for him saying that. And I wrote down Larry commenting on her weight, even not knowing she is pregnant. This guy sucks. Cheating, talking shit about her to their mutual friend / his employee, and commenting on her body. And the way that he comments on it, and then she's like, oh no, really? And then he goes, it's nothing to get panicky about.
Yeah, because...
And why are you bringing it up?
Now, there's like 2 instances, right? Because he says that, and then she interrupts him and tries to tell him, right, that she's pregnant. Because she's like, well, like, there's something I need to tell you. I'm gonna tell you, right? Like, he's like, well, what is it? Finally gets him to shut up. And she like starts with, because in the beginning she was saying, you know, that, oh, Larry thinks he's too old to have a kid, you know, all these things. And so she tries to assure him, right? It's so cute, but I feel so bad for her, right? Because I feel like she's this neglected housewife. But she's like, Larry, you know, you're not too old. And he's like, what? And she's like, you're not too old. You're really young. Like, you know, you're whatever. And it's so funny. And she knows she's not getting anywhere. And so then she just like downs her drink, right? And then she's like,
Liquid
I think
courage.
I want to get another drink. And that's when he's like, oh, you sure you should? And she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, well, or you should, are you watching your figure? These are very fattening. And she like, of course, gets pissed off. And I'm like, again, like, beer. Beer
Actually
can
fattening
be a lot of calories.
Yep.
Especially the one,
Depending on how much you're drinking of it. Yeah.
but when I found that it's a German chocolate cake ale. Can you imagine how much calories is in that? So I'm like, okay, that's like whatever, right? Either way, you shouldn't be telling anybody to, you know, watch anyway.
Yeah,
but
it's bad.
But it's like, it's a martini.
Yeah,
It's
that is
just
just
like
alcohol.
Liquor, yeah.
Yeah, there is nothing fattening in it whatsoever.
No.
And she's like, a couple martinis? And he's like, well, they'll add up. You should try exercising.
Yeah, he tells her like, well, maybe when you're at home, you should start doing some exercises, whatever. And she's like, well, I literally physically can't do that, you know, as in I'm pregnant. But then this is what I was thinking too, like, why? We might be thinking too much into this, y'all, but like, sorry.
Let's get into it though. The
I'm like
misogyny is
fired.
crazy.
Fired up. But like, it made me think too, is like, okay, then for him to say that, knowing that she is basically skin and bones, right? And for him to say that, also knowing that it's just straight up fucking gin or vodka or whatever's in this pre-batch martini, like, it seems like Danny just put this in there to make Larry just be mean and an asshole out of nowhere just because he can, right? Doesn't it seem like really pointed? Like he would know that there's no like whatever, and he's just going to say like, hey, you need to watch your weight. So that's when I was like, wait, me watching these growing up, I love Larry. I thought he was so much fun. But as we've done this podcast and I'm watching this as more of a critical eye and as an adult, I'm like, wait, Larry is a piece of shit. And I had no idea, and it made me really sad because especially in this scene, like I genuinely feel like he is doing this to make her feel bad about herself. Right?
He literally is just cutting her down like he does every time they interact, and he's just wanting to make her feel bad about even drinking a martini at dinner with friends. And like, I understand, like, she goes to down it and he's like, well, maybe you should slow down.
Yeah, but again, you could say that like, oh, that might be too much if you haven't eaten anything yet. Yeah. But then to say like, you better not do that because you're going to get fat. I've noticed you're getting a little tubby in the midsection. Yeah. Like, fuck you.
What the hell? Exactly what not to do in a relationship if you want to end up by yourself.
It just really pissed me off.
Yeah, that really pissed me off too. I'm glad that also equally pissed you off, because I had to pause it when I was watching this. I was like, this is making me so mad. But and then like Sam enters the room again, and I think like Louise loses her nerve. She ends up not telling him.
Yeah, they come out with the food, right?
And Sam has this moment where she like clocks Louise like not saying it, and Sam's like, Louise,
like, sorry,
like admonishing her again for not saying anything, and I'm like, be gentle, she's scared, her husband sucks. Like, this is taking a lot of courage on her part.
And we know that this would be what do they call it, a geriatric pregnancy.
Oh my god, yeah, because she would be maybe around 35 or 36.
Yeah, and it was literally like 30 something. They're like, oh, you're a geriatric pregnancy.
It's crazy.
My
mom had me at 40. I'm an old egg.
But yeah, they bring out the food and they're like, all right, don't hurry up and start eating. It's going to get cold. You know, like normal things you would say at a dinner table, right? And then they sit. So, you know, the dinner table, as y'all would probably know the way it's set up. So Darrin is on the left head of the table. Samantha's on the right head of the table. And then Louise has her back to the kitchen facing the camera. And then Larry has his back toward the camera facing Louise.
Yes.
Right? And so the whole time they sit down and she's just kind of like staring at him, like not glaring, but like, you know, she's staring at him, right? Yeah, she's staring at him, and then they're like, what's wrong? He's like, what's wrong with you? As the sweet, caring husband he is. And
what's wrong with you?
She says, I'm going to say, like, I've been trying to tell you something, and I'm just going to come out with it, And she begins kind of going through the story of the day.
Well, yeah. First, she's like, I have something to say. And then Larry mutters something like, I only meant it as a joke. Like, as if she's trying to talk about the weight stuff comments that he just made. And I'm like, no, you didn't mean it as a joke. You didn't say it like it was a joke, and you didn't wait for a laugh, and then you didn't even say I'm just joking in the moment when she didn't take it well. So you didn't mean it as a joke at all, actually. And that pissed me off because I feel like that's a common argument thing, is people being like, I was just joking.
But I feel like that's also another thing, right, in abusive relationships. Like, oh, I know you're crying in the corner of what I said, but I was just joking. You're being too sensitive.
Yeah, like not taking responsibility or accountability for how your words affect people.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a very interesting tale, of that he is at least verbally abusive, or maybe doesn't even know that he's being that way, right?
Yeah. And then Darrin is like, something the matter? And Samantha says, good girl, Louise. And I'm like, finally, some encouragement from her friend.
Yeah. So she begins to like the story, right? Saying, oh, well, we both went to the obstetrician's office to see Dr. Bricey. And then all of a sudden, it's not verbal anymore. He kicks the shit out of Louise from under the table. To make her stop talking, because he thinks she's about to tell them, let them know that
Samantha's pregnant.
Samantha's pregnant, right?
Well, what is it?
This morning, Samantha and I went downtown to see a doctor.
What happened?
He kicked me.
I'm sorry, my foot slipped. It was an accident.
Because it's important to them that that Sam tells Darrin, but I'm like, either way, Larry, like you already think that you've told Darrin, so he already knows anyway. So like, stop kicking your wife under the table.
I know, that's actually such a good point. I didn't think about how hypocritical, because he literally runs home and tells Darrin, and tells Darrin immediately, and then is like, no, don't let her know. Like, give her the benefit of telling you, like. And I'm like, well, you should have given her the benefit of telling her husband by not running home and telling him yourself.
Exactly.
And then to kick Louise under the table because she's about to do exactly what you did a few hours ago by telling him and stealing her thunder.
Well, you know what he probably thought? He was probably like, oh, her giant, thick legs can handle me kicking them since she's so fat. Ugh. Yeah. But anyway, so she does that, and she's like, what did you do that for? And so then Sam kind of is like, what's going on kind of thing. But then she tells her to continue, right? And then she's like, yeah, we went to see Dr. Bricey. And do you know what that means? And then finally Larry is like, yes, like really ugly. He's like, yes, I know what that means. You can't keep your big mouth shut. And she's like, Larry, like really hurt, right? Because he just had an outburst. And so that's when he tells the women that he saw them when he was coming out of the dentist's office, right? And so she thinks that he knows that, but she still doesn't know at this point that he assumes that it's Samantha. So she thinks her biggest fear is coming true, that he's pissed off that she's pregnant, right?
Yes.
I was hoping you'd feel the same way.
I do. I think it's marvelous. But I also think that Samantha should be the one to tell Darrin.
It's all right. Samantha? Sure?
Go on. Tell him.
All right. Darrin?
Yes, dear.
Louise is gonna have a baby.
Who? Congratulations, Darrin. You lucky son of a gun.
And that's when Larry does a complete 180 and becomes a sweet, supportive, doting husband. And I wrote, hate him.
Yeah, literally. Because, okay, also, this is making me think about how people in abusive relationships or not good relationships are like, we just need a baby. And as soon as we have a baby, it'll fix the whole thing.
Yep.
We'll have a kid, and the kid will be able to take up all of our energy, and suddenly we won't hate each other because we'll have something else to focus on. And it's like, no, relationship is bad. It's
Yeah.
going to be bad when you have a baby too. You're still the same people and you're still in the same dynamics and you're still making the same mistakes and having the same viewpoints. And so it's just going to be as destructive adding a child to the mix.
Yeah.
And so this like narrative that finding out that he's going to have a kid makes him turn into an instantly better man.
Or, you know, what they still do, right, where I'm from, right, where you're from probably, where, you know, you knock somebody up and then you're like, oh, well, I have to do the right thing and marry her, right? You know, and then what happens? It always ends in divorce usually, or a terrible marriage, because you were just having sex and you weren't careful, I guess.
Yeah.
And now
And
you're
you
pregnant.
weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
You're not ready for that. So
So-
why are you forcing yourself into it?
And then society is like, oh, or your parents, right, are like, well, you're going to have to do the right thing and you're going to have to marry her, you know,
Yeah.
and it never ends well, right?
Yeah.
So, but anyway, but yeah,
God forbid
he's
young people take their lives into their own hands.
right. But he's very excited now, and Louise is shocked by how happy he is, and that's when she realized that, oh, he didn't know, right? And so he's just like hugging all over her and kissing her, more affection than we've ever seen him display toward her, because he literally hates her guts.
Now that she's pregnant, she's worth something.
Exactly. She's worth something to me because she's going to give me something, right? She's going to give me a child. It better be a boy, or else you're going to be useless to me again.
Yeah.
You know, because they also say, when he realizes, right before he gives her a hug, he's like, he says, finally, or like, or whatever, right? Like, they've been together for so
Yeah.
long. Why is it
Like,
just
now?
happening now? You know,
Yeah.
kind of thing. And she's like, yeah, now, or
I'm
whatever.
sorry. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my God. But yeah, and so Darrin and Sam get up from the table.
It's so cute. They like look at each other
Yeah,
and then
this
they
is
like
sweet.
they like hold out their hands and they like take their hands and run off together, and it's a cute little moment.
Which also is so crazy. I would not be getting up from that table until I ate the
Yeah, I'm like, I'm hungry. I came here
You
to
said
eat.
eat it before it gets cold, and I'm gonna eat it. But yeah, they go in the living room being really cute, and she's like, wow, dumbass, you thought it was me, didn't you? It's so sweet. And he's like, you know, yeah. But then he's like, asks her, you know, he's like, well, like, when that time comes, like, what kind of kid do you think it'll be, right? And like saying, like, is it gonna be, you know, a witch or whatever? And she's like, bitch, like, it doesn't matter. Like, the only thing matters that it's gonna be happy and healthy.
Yeah,
you know?
she says, I just hope it'll be a happy child with your eyes and your hair, and it would be nice if it had my, and then she like twitches her nose. And it's so cute because like she is imagining the best of him and this child.
Yeah.
And also the best of her, like what makes her special and what makes her unique.
Yeah, but he's going to look at it like in the dream sequence, right? And think of the thing that he finds negative, right? Would be, oh my God, what if my kids have magic powers, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
that's going to be a bad thing.
Right. Yeah. So but they ended on a cute note.
They did.
Yeah, they do end it on like, oh, like that sounds nice. Like that wouldn't be the worst thing if it had a little twitch.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just hope it'll be a happy child with your eyes and your hair. And it would be nice if it had my...
Kiss, and it's cute. We fade to black, but then we open again, cut to Samantha in another bathing suit in the backyard. This time she notices Gladys, because you know she has her towel with her. She's gonna dive again, which I'm like, girl, you should have known better after they literally confronted you about it. But yeah, and so this time she notices Gladys because she like throws her arms up about to like manifest the pool, I guess, and she stops when she sees Gladys, like her head poking up above the fence. It's so cute. And so she's like, oh, okay. So then she tries to like, you know, make it fine. And she goes over to the little trampoline that's back there and starts jumping on the trampoline. And I'm like, okay, I don't think anybody either has looked so beautiful jumping on a trampoline than Elizabeth Montgomery.
It was a body double.
Well, not at first, you know,
Oh,
when she's
okay,
just
okay,
jumping
okay.
up and down when it's
Yeah.
a close up.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, she's so beautiful.
yeah, like the wind is in her. She's like so
Yeah.
picturesque.
Because like when you're jumping on a trampoline, you can feel like your face going And I'm like, she looks flawless, of
Yes.
course. But it's so cute. And so then Gladys sees that and she's like, and, doing her thing from the beginning, right? Again, like kind of being like, oh, that's cute, like watching him. And then it kind of swaps to a body double, which David pointed out would definitely be most likely Elizabeth's stand-in, Melody McCord.
Oh, okay.
But all of a sudden she just starts doing all these like trick kind of thing, like bouncing on her stomach or bouncing it. It's so funny. But you can tell, right, that it's not Elizabeth Montgomery. But either way, Gladys is having a good time. And she kind of turns around to kind of leave, right? And then all of a sudden we just see behind her, like the body double or, Sam do a dive again. And then all of a sudden the big splash. And then Gladys just freaks out again, right? And like runs back home.
He's like,
yeah, like she's got water in her ear.
Yeah.
It's so good. But it's funny too. Like I'll say, Melody McCord, Elizabeth's body double. Like she's definitely gonna come in handy for when Serena gets introduced in later seasons. So
okay.
Very exciting.
Interesting.
But yeah,
Serena like an evil twin.
Maybe. So yeah, I just ended it with Alice Pierce is a genius.
She literally is, though. She's so funny.
Which I don't know. Do you feel like in this episode that, because I was trying to think like her little thing and Abner trying to find the swimming pool seems really out of place maybe, or like it doesn't, I feel like it was kind of an afterthought. Like it doesn't fit the tone of the other stuff maybe.
That's what Adam Michael James wrote in the Bewitched Continuum as well. He thought that it seemed kind of out of place, or like it was written for a different episode and then put in here. Because you're right, their plot has literally nothing to do with what's going on with the main plot. But I think it does provide some little comedic relief, especially with how dark as a modern viewer the main plot is. Yeah.
Like, don't get it twisted. Like, anytime I can see Gladys and Abner, like, I'm happy, and we haven't seen them for several episodes. Because I'm like, okay, if they would have not had them in the episode, but instead maybe Andorra, like, how would that have looked, right? But could they have had Andorra because Louise was around her the whole time? So, I don't know. It just didn't feel like they were on the same, like it should have been the same episode.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I'm never complaining when there's Gladys in an episode for sure. But I don't know, maybe that is just, I think as we watch, there's definitely a few things that as a modern viewer, I feel like sitcoms have come a lot farther on, like making sure that the plot of the season, like throughout the season, they're building to something, or that things make sense continuity wise. And I feel like that's just another one of those things, like the subplot of the characters, the like side characters tying in somehow to the main plot, which maybe just wasn't as important at this time.
Now, at least this has some kind of whatever, like we have reoccurring characters, they do eventually have Tabitha, right? Like there are these things, right? But I can't say that about like something like Golden Girls, right? Where like every episode like is this thing like we've never heard of, like nothing really connects. They have like loose stuff of like, oh, I have this amount of children, but then the actors change all the time. Like we never see these neighbors again, like all that stuff. So it's interesting, like comparing that as well, right? So
yeah. I was trying to think of like Friends. I feel like is a sitcom maybe that I'm most familiar with, but I feel like they do the same thing where not every episode it doesn't necessarily pick up where the last one left off.
But I feel like even that, right, there's callbacks, like people are dating someone for several episodes. This is the episode where I'm gonna date Tom Selleck, and then after that we're never gonna see him again, like that takes place like several episodes, right, where he's guest starring and everything, because it's the thing like, oh, he's an older man, right? So yeah, at least they did stuff like that. And even the nanny, like it's the only thing that's really consistent is her and Maxwell's relationship, right? So
and Cece and Max's lack of relationship.
Yes.
Well,
yes. But yeah, Not my favorite episode.
Yeah, what would you rate it out of 10?
A 3?
A 3, yeah. I said that earlier. I think I would probably be at a 2 or a 3 on it.
Yeah.
Probably be at a 1 if it wasn't for Gladys. And if it wasn't for the sweet way that Darrin and Samantha ended it.
You know, and no offense to Mr. Arnold, but like there are some good stuff, you know, from his time with the show, but I just don't know if his writing is my favorite writing, right, that we've seen thus far.
Yeah.
But either way, there's probably a lot, like we know, right? There's some interesting stuff happening behind the scenes, and he was a perfectionist, and he probably didn't even think the script was good enough, right? And
and Danny and Irene were friends, right?
well, that's what it claimed, right? But I'm like, I don't know, maybe Irene left because she was tired of having Louise beat down, that it was like, oh, are they talking about me, right? Like, no, it's your character, but still, like, I'm getting tired of hearing people talk so bad about me for no reason, so I'm gonna leave the show.
Yeah, goodbye. Yeah, any more thoughts on the episode?
I'm glad it's over. I really liked going over it and talking about these things, because that was kind of the whole point, right, of this podcast is, you know, realizing that this show is of its time, but still being able to talk about modern things as well and how they relate and how far we've come, right? So
Absolutely. And I think it definitely is a marker of that. Yeah. All right. Well, then I guess it's time for my mini ditty.
Ooh.
That was in honor of Hannah Montana.
Beautiful.
Ooh, whoa, whoa.
Yeah. Should always end it with like a
Yeah.
Oh my God, do you think they're gonna do it for the special?
As like the transitions.
Like she's gonna be
That
like,
would-
ooh, ooh.
That would be amazing. Oh my God. I would
so
be living
excited.
for that. Yes, I'm going to be deep diving Maureen McCormick. Who
is that?
Now, she is known as the iconic Marsha Brady of the Brady Bunch.
Yes.
In this episode, she plays Little Andorra. But before we get started, I just want to take a second to give a little bit of a content warning. Maureen struggled with addiction for part of her life, and so that is going to be part of the deep dive. I just wanted to say that so that any of our listeners or people watching, if that's something that, you know, would really hit home for you, or you struggle with, then we have some resources down in the description. But take care of yourself, take care of your mental health. If you want to skip this deep dive for whatever reason, skip it. I will, spoiler warning, she's fine. She ends up sobering up, and it's actually a really great story to listen to. So stick around if you can, but take care of yourself. We understand if you can't.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Maureen McCormick was born August 5th, 1956 in Los Angeles, California. At the time, she had 3 older brothers, and she was raised in a Catholic family. And from a young age, she was a star. At age 6, she won the Baby Miss San Fernando Valley Beauty pageant. And then at age 7, she appeared in a Barbie commercial on national television.
Nice.
I know. And then she went on to appear in several television shows. She appears in Bewitched twice. She's in 2 different episodes.
Ooh.
So we'll see
didn't
her
know that.
again. Yes, we'll see her in season 2.
Aw.
And she also appeared in I Dream of Jeannie, Honey West, The Farmer's Daughter, and My 3 Sons. My sons.
My
sons.
So was that a spinoff of Bonanza?
I don't know.
Because he had 3 sons.
Oh, maybe actually. Should I look that up right now?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. No, well, I believe everything you say.
Apparently.
And then in 1970, she lent her voice to Mattel's Chatty Cathy doll. So that was her
That's
voice.
Right. I feel like I knew that.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Yes. Iconic.
But before she emerged as the Chatty Cathy voice, she started her work on the Brady Bunch. So in 1969, we first see her as Marsha Brady. in the classic sitcom. And my first trivia question for you is, can you name all 8 family members of the Brady Bunch?
Nope. We did not watch that one very much growing up.
You're not even going to try?
No.
Okay.
I know Alice. Icon.
Yeah, she's not in the family. That's the like maid character.
Whoa.
Sorry.
She's not part of the family, folks. You hear that? Wow.
She assists. She helps raise the kiddos.
Wow. Help.
She's the help. The 9 family members. Okay, well, that if any of our listeners want to try and give it a go, you've had a good, mayhaps 20 seconds now to think. Final answer is
Bobby.
okay.
I remember Bobby.
Good. Do you want any more guesses?
I don't remember the older brother that was fucking Florence Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember his name.
Okay. Well, the father's name was Mike. The
Okay.
mother's name was Carol. We have
Icon.
Marcia, of course.
Yes.
Jan,
Oh, yes.
Cindy,
Yes.
Greg,
Greg.
Peter, and Bobby.
Nice.
Yes, so those are the 8 family members. And the Brady Bunch aired from 1969 to 1974 on Friday nights on ABC. So that's a prime slot,
Yeah, it feels like it ran longer than that, right? Like that seems so short.
right? And it sounds like it was so influential. You would think it would have run for at least a decade, but
Yeah.
no, only 5 years.
But of
Isn't
course
that
there
crazy?
was like other stuff, right? That came out later. Because one of my favorite
Yeah.
things is Sure Jan.
Sure, Jan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had many a spin-off after, and
Mhm.
even some albums and musical stuff.
Nice.
Yes. But Marcia played the perfect elder sister, prettier and more popular than her younger siblings. And in her own words, speaking about her time working on the Brady Bunch, her favorite moments she remembers were when the fictional family got to travel.
Mm-hmm.
Because, quote, we didn't go on many family vacations. That was so much fun. But it's the people that were the highlight for me. We've had an amazing bond between each other, like a real family. I couldn't have fallen into a better group of people. It was interesting. I had 3 brothers and never had sisters, but it was really wonderful to have 2 sisters on TV.
Cute.
Cute. However, behind the scenes, her life was far from perfect. In her autobiography, Here's the Story, Surviving Marcia Brady and Finding My True Voice, she describes her struggles with addiction. By age 20, she had developed an all-encompassing cocaine addiction, as well as an addiction to Quaaludes. Remember Quaaludes?
Oh, yeah.
She writes about trading sex for drugs in her early 20s, as well as flubbing an audition for a Spielberg film. And I have a trivia question here.
I feel like I already know what it is, but give me the question.
Should I give you the answers if you want to just make a guess?
No.
Okay, I'll give you the answers. Okay. So what role or what movie was she up for, but she flubbed the audition? Was it A, Raiders of the Lost Ark, B, Hook, or C, E.T. the Extraterrestrial?
My thought was none of those movies.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm glad you didn't guess then.
E.T.
E.T. Final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. No. The correct answer was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
As who?
Maybe as Marion?
That's the only woman.
Yeah.
And she was not old enough for that role.
Yeah, because, she would have been like in her mid-20s, which I guess.
Or maybe like one of his students in the beginning, right?
Oh, or maybe one of his students in the beginning. That would totally make sense. Yeah.
My favorite is when, she blinks and then it says, what, love you or
Yeah,
something
love
on
you.
her eyelids.
So funny. I love that
Iconic.
part. And he's like in the middle of lecturing and he like reads it and he's like, and he like gets back into his lecture. I love it.
Ugh, so good.
But yeah, she ended up arriving to that Raiders of the Lost Ark audition strung out, and she had not slept for 3 days. So she did not get that.
Yeah.
And she developed an unfortunate reputation for being unreliable in Hollywood. She also struggled with bouts of depression and eating disorder. So she was just really struggling by the time the Brady Bunch ended. Despite her struggles, she appeared in guest roles throughout the 70s and 80s in numerous series, such as Happy Days.
Fantasy Allen.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
I didn't write that down, but I do remember that from my research.
Nice.
Donnie and Marie and The Love Boat, as well as some B movies and Brady Bunch spin-offs. She also mentions in her memoir the moment she hit rock bottom with her addiction, which was during the filming of The Brady Brides. Did you ever watch?
No.
Okay. Well, in 1981, while they were filming, she went missing for 3 days. She was doing coke and playing solitaire in her closet. So she was a little busy.
That's not funny. But I just had that image just by yourself, like Samantha, in the
playing
episode,
solitaire.
just playing cards.
I know. Yeah. And that was a turning point for her, she writes. So she decided she needed to make some changes. She needed some help. She tried going to therapy, but it proved unsuccessful. I don't know whether her therapist wasn't a good match for her, or if she wasn't ready to get into all of the things that had led her to that point. But she ended up attending church with Jerry Hauser, who played her husband on The Brady Brides. So he brought her to church, and that's when she began developing her relationship with God, and really starting to heal. And it was there that she met her husband, Michael, and they married a few years later in 1985.
Nice.
Yes. And she then underwent a series of interventions, stints in rehab, and experimental therapies to get sober. She talks about this one psychologist she was going to who ended up having his license revoked because of how bad he was at his job. And apparently at that time he had her on so many different medications. She didn't know what was up or down. So she went through a lot in trying to get sober. And through all of this, her depression began to become her biggest obstacle. And she was wary of antidepressants at first, but she was talking with her friend and talking about how she really doesn't have a will to live anymore. She was struggling. I think her daughter was around 10 years old at the time, and she just didn't know what to do because she couldn't find any joy in life anymore. And her friend, who was a doctor, recommended antidepressants to her. So she writes about how her and her husband went and just researched so many books about antidepressants.
They went to the library.
They did. She talks about how she was resistant to go on drugs because she knows that she has an addictive personality, so she also was afraid to give medication that power in her life again. But her and her husband ended up going to every bookstore they could find to read every book on Prozac, depression, and being bipolar. And she writes, "I was crying while I was reading all this stuff and thinking, oh my God, this is me. I finally gave in and said I have to try it because I've tried everything else and nothing has worked. I started taking antidepressants more than a decade ago, and that's when my whole world really changed. I started to feel like a normal person for the first time in my life. My husband will tell you that he thought the difference was night and day. At the risk of sounding like one of those TV ads, I can honestly say that antidepressants changed my life." So I just thought that was really wonderful. Like, cause I've had that experience too, going to therapy, like when you're talking about, what you're going through and your thought processes that you're having, and like kind of the questions that are swimming around your head, and your therapist has that moment where they say, well, this sounds like this. And then they describe like what that means. And you have that moment of recognition where you finally feel understood, and you realize that you're not the only person going through this, and that there are avenues that you can take in order to feel more like yourself again. And I thought that was really beautiful. So now she's doing a lot better. She helps others who are struggling with addiction. She rejects the child star gone wrong narrative, which usually involves a child actor being pressured by fame down a dark path, and that's not what happened. She talks about how, like, this would have happened even if I wasn't famous. Like, her father was, cheating on his mother. Her father was cheating on her mother when they were young, and her younger brother had a mental disability, or I forget. She says he was mentally impaired. Is the word that she uses. And her older brother was addicted to heroin. So she grew up around a bunch of fucked up stuff.
Yeah.
And it wasn't fame. Through all this, she worked on projects here and there while she was on her journey. In 1995, her debut album released. It was not a huge hit, and of the process, McCormick confessed she was disappointed and would have preferred writing at least one of her own songs. And I have a trivia question for you. What was the album called?
Okay.
Was it A, When You Need Someone, B, Take Care, Stranger, or C, When You Get a Little Lonely?
I want to say B because it's so funny, but I think it's like A.
Okay, is that your final answer?
Yeah.
Okay. It was C, When You Get a Little Lonely.
Wow.
I'm glad you enjoyed Take Care, Stranger.
Sounds like something they'd say on Bonanza.
Take care, partner.
Yeah.
But yeah, after the album, she worked on a bunch of different projects here and there. So she portrayed Barbara Mandrell in a biopic in 1997. She originated the role of Rebecca Crane on Passions, a soap opera. She was on Scrubs in 2003. She was in Dr. Phil in 2007. And that same year, she joined the cast of this reality show called Celebrity Fit Club. And she ended up losing 34 pounds and winning the series. So, like, go you, boo. And then the following year, she released her autobiography, which made the New York Times bestseller list. And in 2016, she was on Dancing with the Stars and finished 8th place. Unfortunate. And then in 2019, she joined the rest of her cast members on HGTV's Barry Brady Renovation. So she's been working on all sorts of things here and there. And most recently in 2020, she was named a global ambassador for Special Olympics International, which is a sports organization for children and adults with intellectual disabilities. And of course, we know this is near and dear to her heart because her younger brother is mentally impaired, as she says. And I just wanted to end with this quote about her book because I feel like that's something that she's really proud of. And a lot of the articles that I found were interviews with her talking about her book and talking about her struggles in her life. So she says, I decided to write a book because I felt I had to talk about what I've been through and stop hiding. This is what life is about, sharing our stories and mistakes, learning from each other, and helping each other to get better. It's great to finally be just me.
Cute.
Right?
Well, thank you.
You're so welcome.
That was amazing.
Thank you. Yeah, it was so great because I think maybe I've seen one rerun of the Brady Bunch. Like, I haven't seen much. But as soon as she popped on screen, she looked so familiar to me as little Endora.
Yeah.
And so it was cool to get to look up more about her life and learn, what she's been up to, and also to hear about how brave she is coming out about all of her struggles and just being honest with her truth and what she's gone through and just trying to help other people who are also struggling.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see you next time. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thank you for listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube and, leave a review wherever you listen. You can do that in the comments on YouTube or just anywhere, right? So that would really help us out, pretty please.
And if you like any extra content, we also post a lot on Instagram and on Facebook. With different pictures from our deep dives and such. So be sure to follow us at Bewitched Deep Dive.
Yes.
Yay.
Yeah, other than that, y'all have a wonderful week, and we'll see y'all again soon.
We'll see you soon. Bye now.
Bye.
So my wife's a witch. Every married man has to make some adjustment.